into my bones. Welcome, everyone. That straight amps me up every time, yeah.
Absolutely. Welcome to another Thursday Night Live with those two sisters. And, y'all know what's going to happen over here. We're going to talk about all of the trending topics that we can fit into the time that we're on here. And, we may not always agree, but the conversation is going to be good. Okay. So get in the comments below, become a part of the topic that we're talking about, or chime in, or, give your opinion, share your thoughts. We welcome that. So what is going on, sis?
What's going on with you,
I love those glasses.
Thank you very much, Amazon. I just ordered, you know what? I order all of these reading glasses because I lose them all the time. And especially when I was like going back and forth to the office a lot, then I will always like leave a pair there or leave a pair in my bag, and I will always be looking for them. So I was like, I'm just going to buy 4 at a time. And that way I'll have one in both of my desks. Like, I'll have one in my bag, whatever. So it's just, and that's worked. So then whenever I like a pair cracks or I break a pair or I lose a pair, I just, after there's so many I can't find.
Old lady shit. I feel like that sounds like some old
lady shit. It's some old lady shit.
I gotta get 4 pair of readers.
I gotta get 4 pair of readers in the mail.
I'm messing with you because I don't get readers, but I do have like these little progressive glasses that I had to get from the doctor. But I feel like after I got those, I feel like my eyesight got worse after that. So I was like, wait a minute. I feel like now I really can't see. I can see, but like it's the small fine print on stuff like ingredients and stuff like that that's just becoming harder to read. And I'm like, are y'all doing this on purpose, or is it really my eyes?
I mean, I do think that your eyes get used to a certain amount of medicine or whatever, so maybe it does make it worse because it's like now you need it. But it was so helpful to me that if it's worse, it's worse. Listen, I have bigger problems, okay? Like there's other things that I'm solving for. But anyway, how was your week this week?
My week was pretty decent. It really went by fast.
Didn't it? Okay, listen.
It's about to be Friday again. I had a productive week. I really don't have any complaints, to be honest. Shout out to On the Spot Live. I need to, I've been so busy. I haven't had a chance to go and watch and frequent her channel. She also has another channel. It's called I Am the Single One. But she also gives great advice on like obtaining a home and how to fix your credit as well. And sometimes she does like little fun game shows or whatever. I think I won $20 one time. I won $20 for answering questions one time or whatever. So that was
okay, $20. I know that's right.
Shout out to her. Let me put her on the screen so y'all know what the channel looks like. On the Spot Live. Definitely check her out. And she's cute too. Anyway.
I know that's right. Well, listen, you mentioned earlier, and you're so right about this, that it seems like time was going by fast. This week, I don't know what it is. I mean, I will even say this year. I'll even go so far as to say this year, for some reason, has felt like it's been going faster. Thank you so much. I'm going to say, maybe she's talking to you, though. I don't know.
I think she's talking to you.
We're going to both take that compliment. Thank you so much.
Think your hair is so cute, too.
Anyway. I don't know if you have felt that. I mean, I'm not saying this first topic has anything to do with that feeling, but I felt that this year specifically that like, wow, how is it already May and now about to be June? Like, this is happening much quicker than it has before.
I feel like it was just January, and now it's about to be June, which is half the year. Which means that if you blink, then it'll be Christmas. So I felt like that before. Like I feel like, we just rely on the clocks. We wouldn't really know if it jumped ahead, if all of the major clocks like jumped at once. Like if all of our iPhones and our watches just changed all together, we would just keep believing like, oh my God, this is real time, right?
Yep.
So when I saw that document, or when I saw that video about the we're gonna have to skip some time because the Earth is moving a little faster, I was like, what in the world? But it was shorter than I thought it was going to be. I thought they were going to talk about some minutes, but...
Look, I don't know what's going on. And that's always been that's always been sort of like one of the conspiracy theories that float in the back of my head. Like, we just accept everything that was taught to us, and like, what if it's not that way, right? Like, what if they're actually 10 months and they're just pulling a wool over us? Like, I don't know, but I don't know who would stand to gain anything from that. And then by that time, it's like, hey, we're living this reality, so it's real. But the fact that like the Earth has started spinning faster than it used to me, I mean, listen, I'm calling this a fact. This is from a page. Um, I didn't, I've seen this. I couldn't say that I've seen it a bunch of places though. The source is CBS News, but I've only seen this story like one or two places. But that fact would have me feel like, okay, well, what's to say it's not going to keep speeding up? Like,
that's what I was gonna say. Why did they say that it started spinning faster? Like, it says for some reason. Like, what is the reason?
Some fucking reason.
I mean,
if you know what, it's like, when something gets heavier or it's going down a hill, it'll gain momentum. But to me, it means like, oh, it's just going to keep going faster and faster and faster and faster and faster. Like that second is going to double next year, and then next year it's going to be like, oh, now it's going to be 4 seconds faster.
Well, that sounds crazy in itself, right? Like, but the thing is, what if we don't know what the reason is? It could be double whatever you just said.
It could. So we could just know why.
Like, if it's something that we're doing, is like, what's the problem? What do those comments?
I don't know, but
in the comments.
People are saying like it has to do with the land mass ratio. So it means it's like we're a raw egg, and the white and the yolk are spinning at different rates. Mm-hmm. I don't know what that means. And somebody said, so is it Friday then? That's hilarious. That explains all the pronouns, which I've been seeing a lot of stuff about that. We're not even going to touch on that tonight, but I need to talk to you about that behind the scenes. But
wait, because I just, you know how you watch a video or watch a short on YouTube or anywhere else, and then it goes to the next one. I was just watching one where, what was the lady's name? There was a lady that was talking to somebody on the news, and when she brought the person up, she said their name, and the person was like, well, my pronouns are they and them or something like that. And the lady on the news was like, okay, but you're not a plural version of yourself. Like, you're just you. So I'm just going to refer to you as like with correct grammar, right?
Right. Like in a singular version.
Yeah. She said, well, I don't want to be addressed incorrectly. And she's like, well, is it correct grammar? And she's like, they went back and forth like that. I was like, this is crazy. It
is. And I'm sick of it. Like, I'm just not here for it. I'm not trying to disrespect nobody, but I can't remember everything. And I don't know what every single individual person wants to be called. And I don't really know if I'm going to remember it. So I just, listen, everybody, we just have to distinguish between what's fact and what's feeling. Because
because then in a minute we're gonna have to be like, are you human or are you a robot?
And right. Then, it's like, what do you feel?
That, I know what the next question is to ask.
Like, dude, I'm not going along with it. Some of this shit is make believe, okay? And I'm not here for it. So I'll just put that out there, get it started. Let's argue. But anyway, yeah, so that's one of the things that I thought was interesting. Also, I talked a fair bit last week about how maybe it wasn't even last week, but it was about like how the internet, the negative effects of like the internet, and how we don't know how this thing is gonna end up because it's all an experiment and all that stuff. And I just wanted to go back and point out, if I didn't, that there are also some very amazing things about the internet, and about AI and all that stuff. Because it dawned on me last week. I was like, I don't know if we said this or not, but if it wasn't for the internet, that pandemic would have been even worse, because at least we had the internet to like be able to work and still make money, and then be able to like order things and be able to have
what's going on with other people,
Yes.
Known a lot of the stuff that we were able to see, during that time. So yeah, you're right.
Social interaction, social justice stuff. Like, people were organizing, doing protesting. And so, I think there's a lot to be said for what the internet can do, especially like this one thing that I was showing you, that I came across. Let's see. where this student is studying like the heart, and they're able to, with the Apple Vision Pro and spatial computing, they're able to like turn it around and like look on the inside and learn the different parts of the heart. And I mean, that's dope because you don't have that, like, you know, you certainly don't.
Why?
You certainly can't do that on a beating heart, and it wouldn't have all those lights and stuff. So I think that's dope because even whatever they used to study on, like, you know, like, what do they call them? The deceased people, the catheter. What is it called? Cadavers, right? It's like those hearts are not beating, so I don't think you really have a good understanding of, you know, like you would here. Buttercup, please.
Right, because I think that this could probably introduce a better scenario play. Like, you know, what if this happens and this is how it would look or whatever. And also, I think that you know, this goes along with a post I saw a while ago about the holograms that we have, or holographs. Is it holograms or holographs? A holograph, right? A hologram. Mm-hmm. I don't know, but I did a show on Relationship Entertainment Television. Shout out to them. If y'all not following, y'all know I always say go over there and follow that channel. But I did a show on there where I was showing how people in other places could like project their hologram. I gotta figure out the right word. Hologram?
I don't know. I think it's hologram.
It gotta be hologram. Okay.
I'm about to just I'm about to look it up right now.
You know, people that could do that. Like they were talking about, you know, this man. They were showing this man, and they were showing examples. There was a man that was in the military, and his wife was at home pregnant, and they were able to see each other. And then there was like a business that was, you know, having a meeting or maybe an orientation, and then like your boss or whoever is able to talk through a hologram or whatever. So AI is just going along with that. Like that is that's right there is amazing. Like you can actually see what it looks like up close and not mess nothing up. But then is it a downfall because it's not a real actual heart? Like is whatever
I mean, we'll have to see.
This gonna translate over to working with the real thing, because
I think it's got to be helpful, because at least if you can look at this before you get started with the real thing. So I would go with the notion that, okay, everybody before now didn't have this.
Thank you. Hey, Tyron.
So wherever they would start up after. Sorry, go ahead.
I just mentioned Relationship Entertainment Television. Guys, he has a show over there as well. He's actually a very important person over there. If you know, you know. So definitely go check out Relationship Entertainment Television. Hey, Tyron. He helped me out with the hologram word. I'm sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off.
No, it's all good. Hey, Tyron. No, but I'm just saying, like, it's got to be better, because at least the people who have learned about, you know, heart, like, what do they call, like, cardiovascular, I don't know what it's called. And I watched a whole slew of Grey's Anatomy, and I should know this.
Oh my goodness.
What was the guy's name? What was his profession? He was like a cardiothoracic something. Anyway, I don't know, guys, but a heart surgeon. I would think that, okay, listen, all the training that was out there pre these Apple Vision Pro glasses coming out still exists, and those people are still going to study with real hearts and all that stuff, and they're still going to stand in and watch real surgeons do heart surgery. But this is just an added advantage, so that they could actually touch it and turn it around. And this is the kind of stuff that you can't see when you're in the operating room, you know, when the stakes are high. So I think it's got to be just an advantage, because, I mean, sure, it's not going to be the exact same as a real heart, and you won't see the texture, and you won't, you know, but I think there's a lot that you can learn before you get to that.
You can still identify certain things better, I think.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I agree. So
I don't know. We'll see. We'll see how it plays out. You know what I always say? We will fucking see.
Yeah, exactly. Okay, so I popped this in at the last minute because I don't even know if you have an answer, but I was curious as to what you're listening to these days, as far as podcasts and YouTube and whatever. Like, what are you into these days? What are you watching?
A mixture of stuff. I've been so busy at work that I haven't even really had time to even like produce my own content. And so I've been watching some content. But the things that I've been watching lately are, of course, Social Proof. I'm watching like the hot seats that they upload.
Yeah.
And I've been watching a lot of Lewis Howes because he's had some good interviews over there. I really have been meaning to catch up on Club Shay Shay's interviews because Kel Mitchell's been over there,
I
Lavelle
know.
over there. So many people have been over there, right? And so, I want to do that, but really, I've been just watching a little bit of Lewis Howes and a little bit of Social Proof and just like ratchet drama on YouTube.
Oh, cool. Nice little balance there. That's interesting you mentioned Club Shay Shay because I didn't see the whole Kel Mitchell thing, but I saw like a clip and I think I went to go try to watch it, but it just wasn't, maybe one day.
Well, here's what I'll say, because I watched part of it, but I haven't finished it. I started it from the beginning, and I really was taken aback by the Ty Tribbett performance. I was like, really? But it was like I was just shocked to see him. Okay, so because they opened up and Kel was there, and then Ty Tribbett performs before they start the interview. I was like, this is different. This is great. Of course, it was a great performance. Yeah. But so that set the tone for it. I was like, well, I'll stick around for a second to see what he has to say because I don't know. He's always just been kind of like a person I have never really paid close attention to. However, I did see the interview a while ago that Tasha K did with his ex. So, and then there's some follow up with that since he's done this interview, I think. So I got to look into that or whatever. But I don't know. I haven't watched it, but you should watch it just if only for the Ty Tribbett performance in the beginning.
Absolutely. I did see a clip of that when he was talking about how he wrote Cry Me a River with Justin Timberlake and or he wrote a piece of it. And I thought that was interesting. And I know Ty Tribbett has been in the media for his comments on the Breakfast Club and he's been under scrutiny for that. But not under scrutiny, but like I guess it put a bad taste in people's mouths, whatever. But I will watch it. I mean, I'll watch it for also the parts of the story that I really wanted to hear. And it's funny that Shannon Sharpe has the culture in his hand like this. I really can appreciate this because it's like
doing a good job. He is
good old Unc. Like he's really giving us what we came for, and I love it.
Just like when this whole thing happened with Tasha K, like I know that he has the people who are just like dogging him out or whatever. You just have to give him props for being himself and making it making it happen like that because he does a lot of like and I understand why he does some of the stuff he does, but I mean his formula is working. That's all I'll say. And you can't knock him for it. He's definitely delivering. Okay. And
I'm not mad at him.
I think Terrence Howard went on Joe Rogan. I heard that was interesting, but I haven't seen that either. But I heard
I don't know. I'm not interested in watching that. And it was because I went and I looked at the comments first and somebody pointed out this is how petty I am, everybody. I go look at the comments and somebody in the comments, a few people basically were like, why is he wearing his hoodie like that with the headphones? And I can see Terrence Howard. Now I gotta go find a picture. Terrence Howard's hoodie is like right behind his hairline, like lurking about. It's like it's not even on his head. And then he has the headphones, and it's like we are obviously trying.
Right? Maybe listen, okay. I have learned that it's not always what you think, right? Sometimes, like, okay, think of a picture of somebody standing over a person that is under a rock, right? You're standing there, you're looking at the person, and you're like, you got your hand down, and you're like, why won't they just grab my hand, right? And then you look at it from the other person's view. They want to grab your hand, but from where they sit, there's a snake that you can't see, and so they can't reach, right? So like it's two different perspectives. So with that, it's like, what if he has something going on with his head that he's don't want to show? Like, I don't know. You just never know, but you think it's because he's just trying to. I gotta see the picture. Let me stop.
I'm about to bring it up now because I can't like leave you hanging out there like that. But it's like it's just one of those things. When you see it, it's gonna make you understand like what I'm talking about.
Watch it because of how he looked with his head.
I mean, it just made it put a sour taste in my mouth because I was just like, okay, if you're coming to this unserious.
Like, I don't even want to hear what you have to
say. I don't even want to hear what you have to say because you're playing.
Tough
You're
crowd.
playing around. You know, good damn well you don't need that hoodie on. Okay, and I'm gonna find it now. I really have to find it because
because I want to see this. But yeah, so I want to watch that interview. But there's a lot of good actual content that's been going on lately. It's like it's no matter how many people I feel like I follow, even if I feel like I follow too many people, there's always a new person that I come across, and it's like, how am I not following you? And not add them to
I
the list.
know some of them I feel like I do follow, but I just don't get there, and then sometimes it'll just unfollow me from people. All right, let
Yeah,
me try to type
they
this out.
do that too. They do that too.
What's this? What is he doing?
I mean, I don't know. Man, listen,
Yeah,
I'm not here to make excuses for the man, but I don't know. I think that's a question that whoever talks to him next should ask. Why didn't Joe ask him that? I don't know. I guess it didn't
I
happen.
mean I don't know. Maybe he did.
Or
Maybe
like, okay, so here's the thing. What if it's you know me, I always got the what ifs, right?
yeah.
Okay, yeah, maybe he looks like he's trying too hard, right? But does that really have anything to do with his message?
No, you're right, and he could be saying some really profound
You
stuff,
know,
and they're
listen,
putting all these things up
first of
there.
all, first of all, just in case he says some shit that I don't agree with, let me just retract that right now. I'm not saying that he has a good message. I'm not trying to take up for him. I'm just saying sometimes, people do stuff like that to get the attention that you just gave. Not you just gave, but like to get the thought that you just had, right? And it kind of makes us talk about it in a different way. And now it's like, yeah, I knew you were going to talk about that. And so now, even though you didn't watch it, somebody's going to watch us and be like, I'm going to go see what he's talking about. Yeah, that get on my nerves too. And they might actually type it in the comments with other people.
Yeah, I mean, sometimes people are making sense, but sometimes they're just full of it. And I don't know.
But
So,
sometimes
like,
people do
when
stuff
I
like
look at
this for
somebody
attention.
who's presenting themselves like this, I can't. It's like hard for me to take seriously what you're actually saying because, like,
But
this
you
is
have
all
to look,
because
okay.
this I see this is all a performance to you.
Right, that's what I'm saying. Some people do it for attention. Look at the views. How many views does it have?
This is actually somebody else's channel. This is the Jasmine brand. It's probably a lot of views. I mean, it's Joe
So you
Rogan.
have to think about it too. Sometimes people will listen. In the day of content creation, like we're in right now, people will literally have a thought and be like, you know what? I'm gonna go on camera with this on. Who cares? I mean, it is what it is. I mean, it could be anything. It could be a face mask. It could be like your hair in a bow. Like I could put my, just like I did that Andre little divot thing. Like people do certain things just for the attention or whatever. Maybe that's why he did it or whatever. But I can't believe he didn't even want to listen to what the man had to say.
I mean, it's too. You know what? It's too many other things out here that I could be listening to. Case in point, let me share this with you. That this is one of the things I've been listening to. Pastor Jamal Bryant has an actual podcast out there, and he is out in these streets cutting up. Okay, he is so funny though. Like the first one I watched was Jessica Wu because I was like, oh, this is gotta be interesting. And he'll just ask questions. Like he's one of those people who knows a little bit about everything. So he'll just ask questions once he knows you know about something. He'll be like, so what do you think about this? And he'll jump around in the conversation, but it's very interesting. And he's just a wise person and he knows the Bible. And he's like, really, one of the things that I'm really realizing about him is like he's not afraid to like talk about actual real topics and he'll put himself out there. I mean, he's already out there. We already know.
Sometimes I feel like I see, like, always gotta put Tasha K in there, but I feel like I've seen a couple of posts from Tasha K talking about him before. And because of who his ex was.
Yeah, his ex-wife.
But
Giselle.
also about how she's seen him out and stuff. So I don't know. We'll see what else comes out about that. But I don't feel like it'd be girls. But
oh, really? Apparently he'd be out in these streets, but I haven't heard anything about him and men. Yeah, I know he has a
I recall a post where she said that he was with somebody and it did something about how it looked or whatever. I don't know. But
I know he has an affinity for women.
It also went along with how he was dressed, as well.
Well, I've been listening to a lot of him, and I've been listening to I actually saw a couple of Willie Moore Jr.'s. Who I don't know how many people know about Willie Moore Jr. because he was I came across him as a radio host, and I don't think he does that anymore. I'm not sure if he does that anymore or not, but it was a 104.1.
He had a little drama too, didn't he?
He got divorced.
What's going on?
He basically had the same, a similar story to Jamal Bryant, because he was like, there was infidelity, but I actually watched a podcast with the two of them talking too, which was interesting, because he had posed the question to Jamal Bryant, like, were you mad at your ex-wife for putting all your business out there? He was like, I gave her the storyline. He was like, I can't be mad at her when I'm the one that cheated on her. She wouldn't be able to go and tell it if I didn't do it. I was like, yes, come on, somebody. You better tell it. But I just appreciate
you have to realize what the actual truth is. So yeah, she probably told him that, but
probably. But anyway,
no, I'm just joking.
No, shout out to them, because I've been listening to a lot, and what's funny is about Willie Moore Jr. is he has a background, like he obviously used to do music, and he still does music, but I like to see what people do with their podcasts, because like I know I'll watch B. Simone's podcast sometimes, Let's Try This Again, and she'll do like a whole vlog in the beginning. Willie Moore Jr. is apparently like playing his music videos in the beginning. It's like you can do whatever you want. It's your podcast. It's your thing. I really appreciate that about. That's another great thing.
Wasn't the girl that does the t-shirt classes, the Girl Plus God?
Yeah, she was on his show.
She worked with him, right? Yeah, I thought so.
And she used to do like the updates. She would be like top 3 with Crystal Lee. Isn't that her name? Crystal Lee? Maybe?
Yep.
Yeah. That's so funny. Look, I just learned something right there. Let me get a phrase with my name in it so people will remember my name. Top 3 with Crystal Lee. I didn't know her name, and then I was like, she used to do the top 3, and it came right back to me. So kudos to her for her marketing.
That was genius marketing on that.
Okay, look, I do have to talk about this, y'all. This just came out, I think, yesterday, and it's I see Mocha's comment in here. This is so funny too, when you follow people and their comments come up first because you're following them. So Apple, was it Apple Music? They ranked a whole bunch of albums of like the albums of all time. So we're gonna go through these, and I want to get your reaction to this. I don't know if
these are Apple rankings. Oh,
so yeah, and I don't know what they did it on, based on like streams or what.
Wait, before you start clicking through that, I clicked through that, and there's like a picture of a baby on there, and that John looks naked. So I was like, why the fuck would they put that on there?
I'll click past that if I don't even know.
It could be the baby's foot or
whatever. Nirvana. Okay, I see.
But then I didn't want to be weird trying to figure out if it actually was. I was like, why would they do this? Why would they do this?
I did not even notice that when the album was out. But
whose album is that?
Nirvana. So that came out. That came out like years ago.
No, but like, I mean, it could be one of those optical illusion pictures where I think that, and it's not really that. But
well, I don't even want to be. I mean, I can't imagine they would have it posted online.
But
I don't even want to look at it. I
was like, damn, I can't even double check because I don't want to be the freak that looks to see if that's really what I think I'm
definitely going to double check once I get off of this show, but I'm not going to do it online for everybody to see.
It could just be like the weird foot, right? It could be the baby's foot, one of the baby's feet, but it's just the way. Well, you know what? I'm not even going to.
It would be odd that they did that, but if they did that, it was obviously part of the thing. But then I couldn't imagine that people would.
Well, you let me know. Let me know.
And you know what would be really funny is if you're the first person to ever notice they did that.
Well, when you figure it out, let me know, because maybe.
Dude, you cracked the code. Detective Robertson on the beat. You know what? I started saying that the other day. You ever say something, you're like, yeah, I'm going to start saying this.
And then I forget to say it.
Dude, I said something the other day, something like, listen, I'm just a detective around here. I'm just walking my beat, okay? I didn't make this up. You're the one who looks suspicious. That's how I'm going to regard people.
Oh my goodness.
And they're like, why are you all in my business? Hey, listen, I'm just a detective around here. So that's my new saying. Okay, so Amy Winehouse, Back to Black. That was a good album, but I don't know of all time. This is Kendrick Lamar's Good Kid, Mad City. Stevie Wonder, I definitely believe this belongs on this list. Um, Songs in the Key of Life, that was a really great album. Frank Ocean. So I think that he's talented, but I don't recall this album. Now, it could have been one of those things where the singles from the album were hot and they were on the charts, but I never paid attention to the album. So I have to go back and look at that. Or listen to that. Purple Rain obviously belongs on this list. And then we get down to the last three. Abbey Road by the Beatles. And then this is the one I was waiting for, but I thought it would be number one. And I said, well, if Thriller's number two, then what's number one? And I said, okay, Apple. Because you know what? This was an album that, and it only came out in like 96. Well, did you do that on purpose? What did you do? Yes. When it came out in maybe like 95, 96, maybe 96. And or maybe it was like 97. I don't know now. But I remember that I would buy this album.
I feel like it was 95 because I was definitely playing that thing on repeat.
Yeah.
In my college freshman year.
So
that was 95. The one that had Killing Me Softly on it, right?
Yes. It had to be 95.
Absolutely.
And the thing is, like, look, I think that, like, sure, Thriller is amazing, but this album I buy like I remember before like Apple Music existed or like Amazon Music existed, this would be the album that I would buy over and over again. Like, oh, my CD scratched, I need another copy. This and like Voodoo from D'Angelo. But like Thriller, sure, like obviously those songs are classics and we're never going to stop listening to those songs. But I was very pleased to see this at number one. I was like, yes,
that still rocks. That still gets play on my playlist
for sure.
It's and never I know all the ad libs.
It's never gonna go away, guys. So yeah. So that was interesting. All right. Well,
I'll just add to that. Like when you got closest to the top ones, I knew I did listen to those. Like 1 and 2, yes. I think 4 was Purple Rain, yes. And then what was the other one? The Stevie Wonder one. The other ones, I don't think I listened to those. I don't even think I listened to those.
Yeah, I don't know a lot of those. Like the Frank Ocean joint, Mocha was right. I don't know how that got on there. I mean, of all time, you talking about of all time, you're not going to introduce like like there's even albums like that maybe don't belong on top 10, but would definitely belong above Frank Ocean. I'm just saying, like man, what's that album I keep listening to? It's Stevie Wonder. It's like it's not Stevie Wonder. Excuse me. It's Smokey Robinson. Smokey Robinson used to have some bangers. Okay, Shop Around. Like I would think there would be some more Motown stuff on there, right? Like and I don't even know if that record was produced under Motown for Stevie Wonder, but I know he started out with them. So, but I would think there would be more Motown music, and I would think there would be like maybe I don't know, some other stuff. I mean, I wasn't like I said, I never listened to that Frank Ocean album, and maybe it's the best thing, but it's like
yeah, I never listened to it either.
I don't really know. There were other albums that I remember like that were regarded very highly, but they're talking about of all time.
I'm drawing a blank now, like because now I kind of want to think of stuff to be like, no, this goes in before that. Tyra says he remembers standing in line for the Miseducation album.
Yes, album. Yes, but see, this is what it is too. This is Apple Music's 100 best albums. This is Apple Music's 100 best albums. And they're saying the best of all time, but the best of all time on Apple Music. Apple Music came out.
No Beyonce's on there? That's interesting.
Well, no, Lemonade was number 10.
Oh, Lemonade was number 10. Okay.
So, but what I thought was interesting is that, I mean, I don't know. There's so many people missing. It just doesn't seem.
I know. It makes me want to be like, how did they do it based on streams? Like, how many people like?
How did they do it? Yeah. All right, now listen. Now let's get into our main topic. Listen, everybody. We all know what's happening here. Okay. Your boy Diddy. You know what? Let me just talk about the psychological and emotional effects of these people when this happens. Now, I have the footage that we're not going to play the footage though, but I just want to say that like I'm not a victim or whatever, but it's so interesting and weird when you grew up listening to a person, or you have certain memories with people's songs, and then they were this person the whole time. Like, sure, I could have speculated that he wasn't the kindest man, but like for him to be, and I believed Cassie when she first said when she first said it happened, but it's like for everybody now to be I guess people were waiting for this so that they could say with conviction, but I don't know,
Some of
it's
those
very odd.
people, I feel like, knew this already, but they didn't know it like we knew it because we were just putting shit together. There was some people who knew that actually seen it happen. You know what I'm saying? And they just never said anything. For whatever reason or whatever, but it wasn't just her. You know what I'm saying? That just lets you know, like, he was used to doing that. And what's interesting to me are some of the people who want to come out and talk about it. Like, if you know you have that in your background, why don't you just sit this one out? You know what I'm saying? Just don't say anything about it.
Just don't say nothing. Well, those people have to come forward though, because they're trying to protect themselves before it gets to them.
That's
And
true.
some people are, like, that's what I would think, because he would even the apology. Okay, let's go back and timeline this back. This is crazy. This just happened in November. Like, as far as that was the most.
The Cassie move just happened in November, right? Right.
The Cassie thing happened in November. The lawsuit was settled within, like, I think 24 hours. And that was definitely, I mean, come on, guys, we're not stupid. That was an admission of guilt. Because you did
but no, listen, I think that is the consensus, right? Because why would you pay, right? But then I really, after thinking further, I don't even think anybody consulted with him before they accepted that deal. I think they were just like, we need to just leave this Bama out of it. Like, let's just go and then pay for this. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, or they were like, we know he did it, and he was prepared to lie.
Like, you have to pay this, but just think, like, what else is out there? Because honestly, the only reason we got that footage is because it was shown somewhere. So there must be something else or some other conversation happening with something bigger coming for him, because no random person just had that footage. You know what I'm saying? It
I
had to be shown
that every
like,
oh, sorry.
I was just gonna say, like, when they're putting these people up on charges, they have court dates and they have like times where they get to show evidence or whatever. And I feel like that's where that came from. It didn't just come from somebody just like that worked at the hotel and was like, oh, that the way that it was put together and cut, like, that was like, yeah.
I believe that everything that she named in that case, she has proof of, because she only named some of the stuff. She was with him for like over 10 years.
Why would you put it in there if you don't have proof? Yeah, you're right.
I'm willing to bet that there's going to be footage pouring out. And the thing about it is, like, people knew he was doing this that were around anyway, and I guess they just went along with it. But the people who probably paid knew, right? Like, 'cause to the public, it's like you don't really think about it because they're together, they look rich, and they look happy or whatever. And like, one of the things that was so disturbing for me even thinking about this happening is that, like, I used to look at them like goals, like, oh wow, they're so successful, and look at they're so fashionable, and they're leading, they're fashion icons, and da da da.
That's what they want us to see. They put all that flash in front of us or whatever. And my point is, like, that was Diddy, but like, it's a whole bunch of those Bamas doing that same stuff or worse. And he probably did way worse too. Shout out to Kamisha Reviews. Hey, Kamisha.
Hey, Kamisha.
If y'all not following Kamisha, she is the reality TV queen. Okay, so check her out. She I need to go back over there. I've been busy, Kamisha. I've been working. I ain't even got no new videos up. Anyway, subscribe to her. And definitely share her out. Anyway, all right, back to you.
No, that's good. That was great.
I'm just saying, though, I'm sorry. I know I just threw it back to you, but I'm just saying, just to piggyback on what I just said, like, this video was just one of, like, they were together for however long, and then the fact that 2 or 3 days later, they went to that award show, and it just doesn't look good. And I know that this is just some one little thing, and it's so much worse that probably happened. You feel what I'm saying? It just makes me look at I already was side eyeing like Hollywood, right? Because you just don't know what happened. I just don't believe that people go there and randomly by coincidence all these people just have certain issues. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So it's like, how do all of these people that happen to have the talent of acting or singing or dancing come across these different types of fates, right? So I always thought that or whatever, but they do such a good job trying to cover it up and hide it because a lot of people were willing to do anything to be famous. You know what I'm saying? So, but
yes,
it's crazy because now the day and age that we live in, like there's a camera everywhere. At a certain point, there started to be cameras everywhere. So I know a lot of people are worried about, what other footage can come out because really it's probably footage of people at certain events and places that they probably don't even realize that they were caught on footage of those places. So I can just see so many different things happening because of this.
man, that just reminds me, and I'm going to switch to another part of the story, but that just reminds me of when you talk about the footage of
Right.
how all of those like middle-aged white men who killed their wives like on a boat or whatever. There was this one man who ended up getting convicted, but like there was footage from his neighbors. I watch all his ID channel stuff. His neighbor was like working with the police, and they were like, "Do you have a camera?" And he was like, "Yeah, I have a camera." And they showed him and the police watching the footage real time, and he looked so scared, like the guy who ended up being guilty. But luckily for him, the footage that the neighbor's camera was showing didn't show what he was putting in his truck, but he had backed his truck up to his house, and it was there for like maybe several minutes. But what he was doing, he was putting the body of his wife in the truck, but it didn't catch it. You never know what is on. Like I said, I be on that ID channel now, and there's footage from places you wouldn't even think, like from the gas station, and all these places that they can put things together. So the thing though about his apology,
CCTV is real. Like there's that there's cameras in certain places that it just collects footage. You know what I'm saying? And so I used to watch this show. Oh, what was that show? It was with Taraji P. Henson, and I want to say it was the guy that is doing Traders now. But anyway, what would happen is they would get a person's social security number. And they will be able to like find all this footage and stuff like that. I can't remember what the name of that. Person of interest. It was person of interest. They would be able to find all this footage from different places of random cameras to like get these people or whatever. But I don't think they were trying to arrest the people. I think they were trying to help the people. But it was really crazy how like not easy, but because obviously it was a TV show, but it just kind of showed you how you just never know who's gonna catch what on camera. You know what I mean? And so it's just, and that's the most egregious part of this. It's like you thought you were like, you thought you were just that much of like the shit that you could be at a public hotel and chasing somebody down the hallway and fighting them like that when they wasn't even fighting you back or doing nothing.
Hold up.
Like,
can I get really, really disgusting now? This motherfucker, excuse me, y'all, ran down the hallway in a towel. How Ike Turner can you get? Because my thinking is you're not even concerned about yourself being exposed or the towel dropping or whatever.
Because
like
he knew that he would be able. It was a. Trust me, I feel like it was a procedure that. Oh shit! All right, well I done went out there and I had to chase it in the hall. I'm gonna have to make the call to tell them to pull that footage. That's just probably was an occurrence because like you were too comfortable doing that. You know what I'm saying? You were too comfortable doing that, and the reason why he did it was probably because he didn't want her to leave out. He didn't want her to go and like tell whatever she. That shit was crazy. Okay,
That's wild. But
like I said, the fact that he was so comfortable doing it just lets me know how crazy it. Like he's capable of a lot of other stuff. You know
let
what
me
I'm
just say this too. This is what's really diabolical in my opinion. So November happened. The case got settled. He comes out with a statement at that point, like I'm tired of sick of all these lies on my name or whatever he said. And I wasn't sure if he was referring to Cassie or if he was referring to other people who had started to come out and make allegations. But it was like, okay, but you paid the money, so whether you think that's an admission of guilt or not, it obviously says something, because if you were completely innocent, somebody would have come up for him. But here's the point. Here's the point that I'm making. All that happened, and he never apologized for anything. The day the footage comes out, now you want to make an apology, and the whole apology was so script. It was just so. It was like such a thick layer of acting that it was almost like one of those plays. Like I felt like he was doing a stage play. It was just such a thick layer of acting.
I kind of looked at it like this, because it was kind of to me like, where is he at? Like, is this a nanny boo boo? Like, are you just trying to rub it in people's faces that you're not here to have to face anything that's going on? And oh, it was not genuine or whatever, because you just saying that because you got caught and the footage was released. He doesn't know what else is going to come out at this point. Like you said, those things listed in Cassie's like document, I believe every bit of it. I believe she has footage of it. And now that makes me look, I mean, I don't know. Of course, it just makes you look at everybody else who was like trying to be on that team, like Carisha, and what was you thinking about? Like,
she was thinking about being loyal. Because I'm going to tell you another thing. A lot of women will just do stuff like that, and they'll just stand by people because it's like, well, he didn't do that to me, and he ain't going to do that to me.
But here we go, though, because there was women before Cassie. You feel what I'm saying?
Exactly.
And that's what they're talking about now, about how she was watching certain things go down too, or whatever. Not to say that anybody deserves that or whatever, but it's like, I feel like that probably was such a theme in Hollywood that it was like a normal thing. And this is Puffy, right? And it's sad that that's the case, because you can't think you can't think a lot of yourself to let anybody do that. Anybody, like, you know what I'm saying? So it's like, I just feel kind of like saddened for people who are in Hollywood, because at this point we just don't know. We just know it's crazy over there. You know what I'm saying? We don't know. We have no idea. So I bet you people got stories. And then if you think about, like, certain people's books from back in the day, and because Corinne Stephens has a book where she goes by Elizabeth O. Vesson now on Instagram. She has another book coming out as well, but that book is still doing good because obviously this probably kicked it back up. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
stuff in there too. But this is crazy. It's crazy.
Look, I gotta share this just for shits and giggles, and then I'm gonna go on to the last part of the story. But Shaka Khan's daughter comes out with this like hilarious post talking about, "I'm glad this is happening to you. You got in my mother's face and publicly disrespected her, yelling and screaming like a lunatic. When my little brother tried to get you out of my mother's face, your security jumped my 19-year-old brother. These may be your dark days, but I'm singing and dancing, watching your demise. Shaka Khan, isn't it great, Mom?"
I didn't even mean to laugh like that, because I heard about that yesterday, but I didn't know what was said. This is the first time I heard what she said. But see, it's probably a bunch of stories like that. And just like they don't know who was caught on film, they don't know how many kids witnessed this shit coming up and they're old enough to speak on it like her. You know what I'm saying?
And let me just say this too, because there are so many levels to this. And I also don't, I don't know how much courage it takes, because when Charlemagne came out with his donkey of the day, like, yeah, that was warranted, but I don't know. Charlemagne be giving me the wrong vibe too, so I don't know where he stands with that. But also, it's like you've seen him move for several years. Like, they were not, maybe they weren't privy to everything that he was doing, but people knew who he was, and it seems like, just like we said back in November, apparently he was the Nino Brown of the music industry, because
Rockabye Baby and all.
This is something that I really was, going to get back to. Kim Porter, the news and things that are coming out about Diddy are bringing back up Kim Porter's death, and how it wasn't what everybody thought it was. And the autopsy, I think Jaguar Wright was the first person to speak on it, but now Kim Porter's friend is alleging that she was murdered. We know I'll Be Sure was giving some cryptic information out there for a little while, and it still is. And then
because he almost lost his daggone life, and I feel like because he's like the
related.
only one left from back in the day that probably was like really around that, because Kim probably told him everything. You know what I'm saying?
And they were around him, and they had to have seen some things. Like, isn't it weird that so and so disappeared right after the argument that they had? Isn't it weird that so and so is dead right after this? Isn't it weird that so and so got sick and died when they weren't even sick? Right? And they must have had put two and two together, and they've been around for a long time. So it's unfortunate that he would, because you gotta think, like, this is the mother of three of his children. So
that is, see, that's the thing. Like, a person would think that nobody would do that. Like, who would do that? You know what I'm saying? But the stories that have been out here about this dude, and he's capable of anything, in my opinion. Like I said, I always felt like his aura was dingy, so that's why I always be like, dingy Diddy. You know what I mean? Because he just don't. You know how you just see somebody like, and you just be like, they just no, I can't do it. Like, no.
It's I don't know if we just need mass therapy, but I feel like, and it's not like he was one of my heroes or anything like that, but it's so interesting because we've all accepted this. Nobody thought, as much as you could speculate how much of an asshole somebody is, nobody thought that this was happening behind the scenes. But like, to just think about how much of the culture he like had an imprint on, it's really quite odd.
Yeah, but then think about it though, because even along his like little reign or whatever, like the things that he was accused of, the things that slipped out, right? Or like the things like that he would make people do when he was doing those making the band things, and like how he would just, be. And I think along the way, a lot of stuff happened. People witnessed stuff, along that way as well. So it's like along the way, everybody got different pieces of it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But like, I don't know. He just always has seemed like, and then everybody around him disappeared like that. Like, how is that possible? Like, why?
Outrageous.
Like, you know what I mean? So
it's so outrageous. And also just another thing, like one of the last points on this is, he, first of all, he's still out here acting like that apology was wild, because it's like, who is that for? Do you think that we're waiting for you to come back and make your major comeback? Like, we wasn't checking for you anyway, but like, who was that apology for? Was that for you to, I don't know.
Well, okay, I'm gonna tell you because this is how I'm thinking, right? You know how when people do bad things, right, and then they go to church, you know what I mean? It's almost like they feel like they are entitled to be forgiven, and they're supposed to, they can, they can forget all of their wrongdoings. And I foresee, somebody else. I foresee him going that route, trying to act like he's gotten saved or something. I feel like that's what he's about to do. I don't know. Jesus. That's what I see coming.
That's gonna be wild.
Because, let me ask you a question. I feel like, I don't know, and this is just because I'm removed from the situation, and obviously I'm just going off of, this is just my speculation as a random viewer that's been watching for years, right? You can't really hang around nobody like that and not see nothing.
Mm-hmm.
I'm sorry. So when that whole TD Jakes thing was happening, I was like, why would he even put himself in that mix, right? And now look, like, what do you have to say about this? Because were you the person that he counseled, that he came to for counsel? And if so, right, like, is this gonna be him trying to be like, oh, now I'm saved, forgive me? I don't know.
It could be, but I just hope that people are not that silly or that gullible, because he's, what. There's just so much that can be said here, but I'm not trying to make it worse than it is, but when a person does this kind of stuff and shows who they really are, like, you have to believe them. You can't just want to believe something else so badly that you overlook the things that they're doing. And if everybody says this about this person, and this woman was the mother of three of his children, at least three of his children. I'm trying to think now. I mean, he was claiming I'll be Sure's son, so that's four. But my thing is, like, if he was going to get rid of her, and I mean, this is all alleged too, but a lot of the stuff around him is alleged. So now I'm starting to think there's a pattern with that. So I do believe that he had something to do with Kim Porter's disappearance and death, not disappearance, but like her death, because if she was really about to come out with a tell-all book, that would be, it would be fitting
That is
of what I've seen in the past.
diabolical, okay? Like, to even have the thought to be like, well, I'm about to just have this person deleted is crazy to me. On the Spot Live says he had an argument on camera. He had an on-camera argument. I'm sorry. He had an on-camera argument with Lorianne Gibson. She fiercely stood up to him and it gave, "You are an abuser, but you will not abuse me." Now, I was waiting for her to come out and say something, because even the lady we talked about that started the Ciroc brand for him, that used to be his like PR, or I forgot what she was to him or whatever. She was saying stuff when Cassie had came out about that, with that lawsuit. I mean, with that lawsuit at first. But I want to hear Lorianne speak. I want to know what Lorianne had to say, because I know because it was on that Making the, I feel like it was a Making the Band episode.
It was Making the Band. So recently, okay, so here's the thing, guys. When this thing came out, I went back and I found some old Making the Band videos, or not Making the Band videos, but Making the Band like episodes. Yeah, and I think I found it on YouTube. I think it was on YouTube, but it was like this grainy, horrible footage. But I watched that joint, and he was very entertaining and likable. But it was the music and it was the people around him that were, you could tell that they were off. Like, I'm not saying sending somebody to go get cheesecake or making people run is a bad thing, but the idea that he was just so, I don't know, he was just kind of slimy.
Let me say something about that though, because we watched, haven't been watching a lot of reality TV shows lately. Like, it makes me think more about that, because back then that was when reality TV was like really first getting started, right? Yeah. And the fact that he would make them do stuff like walk to get the cheesecake and other things, right? Like, that was egregious. That was like it was crazy. You know what I mean? Yeah. But like, the thing about it is, this is what you filmed, but this might not be the extent of how crazy you will go. You are taking advantage of the fact that these people want to be famous, and that whatever you suggest and whatever you say do, they're gonna do it. You just happen to catch these things on camera, but what else did you try to make them do?
Even just think about the stuff that was in the news where somebody got shot in the face in a club, or like things would happen and like people would talk about, and
that lady been saying for years that Sean didn't do that, he did it. She been saying that for years.
People been talking about stuff he did, like running up in people's offices.
So crazy. That is crazy. Okay,
crazy.
Crazy. To even be able to look at somebody and be like, you know what? Let me just go. That is just crazy to me. Like, I don't know. I don't know.
Look, I think, you reap what you sow, and he's right now, the chickens are coming home to roost, or whatever they say. I don't know. But we're going to see more, and we're going to be following the story, because we can't not follow the story. Like, I one of our things is we don't seek out negative news. Like, we try to seek out positive news and uplift people, especially in the Black community. However, this Diddy thing is affecting, and listen, it's affecting culture. It is, whether you want to believe it or not.
Yes, and another reason why is because there are people like this in our own communities. And when I was saying that, if you have this type of behavior in your background, like if you've kicked somebody down the hall before, or if you've done something like that, like, just sit this one out. Like, we don't need your comments about it, because you got to deal with that. You've done it before. You know what I'm saying? And unfortunately, it's like, certain things leave a deeper scar on the situation. Like, for instance, right? Like, if you hurt yourself, like, I could fall down and scrape my knee. That scar is going to last a couple weeks. It'll go away. You're not going to be able to see it next year, right? But if I break my ankle and I have to have screw in some plates, right? I mean, a plate and some screws. That is going to be a little more visible, and you're going to be able to tell for a longer time that I had that bad injury. You know what I'm saying? So when you go that far as to chase somebody down the hallway, in a towel in a hotel, and then kick them, and they're not doing nothing else to you, like that is something that is egregious, right? And it's crazy. And so we don't really need to hear what your logic is behind anything else pertaining to that, because like that was taking it too far. And unfortunately, that's a scar that you got to kind of wear. So the people that are doing that, like Joe Budden, like stop it. We already heard what Tahiri had to say before now. You know what I'm saying? So, and there's probably other people too, but like just random people that participate in that kind of behavior, just sit this one out. That's all I gotta say.
Yeah, for sure. There's more to come from there, y'all. That's all I have to say about that. All right, so our last topic is, listen, I'm gonna just go ahead and put myself out there and be transparent. I am on a health research kick right now because I'm just all about everything that's wellness, and that's going to keep me just like thriving in my in my old age. It's not like I'm my old age, but like one of the things I do want to share with people, because this was interesting to me, was this post about when you select your water in the grocery store. So the caps actually mean something. The cap colors mean something. So if it's blue, it came from a spring. If it's white, it's like it was purified. If it's so yeah, there it is. Blue purified. The white has been processed. Black caps are alkaline. I forget what green is. Oh,
that's
like a color cap.
Seltzer or something like that. It said.
Yeah, it was like flavor water or something like that for the
That is so
bright
interesting
colors.
because I thought Deer Park was spring water. It is spring water, but it goes through a multi-step process of purification or something, even though it's spring water too. I was like, oh, okay, so that was interesting. I had to Google it too.
Yeah, so I thought that was.
It, but...
Hey, listen, it's a whole bunch of stuff that I'm getting ready to learn, because this is what I mean. Like, I didn't go research this, but one of the things that I'm really into is this gastrointestinal, like gut health information that I keep coming across different stuff, and it's so crazy because you don't realize. Like, I never cared or thought about my gut health. Like, I didn't even know what that meant until I started to get older and started to experience some of the things that means. But I did want to share this one too. Because this is one of the things that I'm finally realizing and understanding about, like, just digestion and stuff, and realizing that I'm not 16 anymore and I can't do and eat and behave the way that I used to. But some of the things that I just recently am learning about is, like, just like the good bacteria, the bad bacteria, like some of the things that you should do. Obviously, some of this stuff works for everything, like hydrate. Everybody knows you're supposed to have between 8 and 10 glasses of water a day. But I didn't even think about, like, I've heard about starting your day with warm water and lemon, but they're saying a pinch of sea salt in there. And I've heard apple cider vinegar in the morning, but I didn't know before meals. And the whole goal is to, like, normalize your gut acid and make sure that it's up to par, because as we get older, like, our bodies change.
I like to think about it like it's something that is like confusing to most people, but I like to think about it when I explain it like a garden, right? Because you need the good soil or whatever, and sometimes you might use manure to fertilize or whatever. So you want to have balanced bacteria, the gut bacteria. If you have balanced bacteria, then it leads to better digestion, better immunity, and overall health. So anyway, continue.
No, this is just one of the things. No, I'm so glad you're timing in, because I'd never seen this one before. Avoid drinking tap water. Now, I don't make a point to drink tap water, but I've always been skeptical, because one time I heard that, medication doesn't break all the way down. So, like, if somebody's on, like, let's say Ozempic or, whatever, Adderall or whatever, like that stuff goes into the septic system and it doesn't break down. So even when the water gets cleaned, there's traces of all these drugs in the water. Once I found that out, I was like, man, if you can't get the drugs out there, how do I really know you're getting all the shit out of the water? I can't be about drinking that. I mean, listen, it's one thing to shower with it, but to drink it, I just can't be a part of that club. But I mean, more power to people who believe in tap water.
The crazy thing though is that we probably do drink it sometimes and don't really know that we're drinking it. And the reason why I say that is because the water bottles, you know what I'm saying? Who knows what they're really filled with? And then when you go out to a restaurant, you're ordering like a, you know, who knows? But yeah, you're right. That's a good point.
Yeah, but you know, you're right. I do drink tap water in restaurants. I know I do because I used to work in restaurants, so I know they get the water out of like, you know, some of the restaurants have filtered water, but for the most part,
it's ask for like some sparkling water or some bottled
water. Or bottled water. But I know for sure when I just get the little pitcher water that's coming out of the sink, so I get it. But no, for sure. But what I wasn't concerned about before, you know, the 40s kicked in was like probiotics and prebiotics and understanding how the digestive system works. Like I had an understanding of how it worked, but then when, you know, I started to have issues like, oh, it's not working. Like,
well, that's you probably already partake in prebiotics. That's the stuff like bananas, garlic, and bananas, garlic, and something else.
I think ginger maybe.
Onions, sorry, the garlic onions. Ginger's very good too, or whatever. So you probably already cook a lot of things with garlic. You eat bananas, you know what I'm saying? Fermented foods like vegetables are good too. You know what I mean? Like yogurt, kimchi. I know older people probably know about sauerkraut. You know what I mean? I like kombucha, which is like fermented tea or whatever.
I still haven't tried it. I bought it, but I didn't drink it, and then I had to throw it away because I was like, "Oh, this probably isn't good anymore."
Yeah, but another thing to know about kombucha is that it needs to stay cold, right? And if you open it, or if you open it and then close it, you can't leave it in the refrigerator for a long time because it's fermented, so it might bust. You know what I'm saying? So
yeah.
Be careful about that. I mean, I haven't had that happen. I just read about it, but I found 2 brands that I really like. And I like it. I mean, because it basically boosts the beneficial bacteria in your gut. And then the prebiotics, they feed the good bacteria. You know what I mean? So
you do like a regimented, like a sequential taking of these, or you just kind of like, okay, I'll just drink this because I have it?
I just go and get the ones that I like. And then like in the morning, I might have me like a little glass of kombucha. I might have, you know, I don't really drink it at night unless I know I'm going to be up for a little while. Because sometimes it, depending on the brand, it could be like, it could make you stay up a little bit. But I pretty much just drink it when I feel like drinking, you know, kombucha. And because right now I stopped drinking soda. So I drink tea. I drink sweet tea sometimes or whatever, but I drink a lot of water. I drink sparkling water, and I drink kombucha when I don't want to drink like if I'm just sitting, like right now I'm drinking a little bit right now just because I know I'm going to be up. But it's not even a big deal not to drink it before you go to sleep for real, because it's not bothered me or whatever. But it's just something to sip on, right? But it helps your good bacteria. I don't know. It depends on what you like, because some people don't like it. It took me a while to actually try it, but once I tried it, I was like, okay. If you've ever had those, remember people was drinking those apple cider vinegar drinks?
Yeah.
If you could drink that, then you could drink this. It smells vinegary, but a lot of the ones I drink taste really good.
And this is actually saying consume apple cider vinegar, so it's along the same lines of that. But you know what's funny is like I'm getting to the point now where I'm not using that excuse anymore of like whether I don't like the taste of something, because if I could drink a shot of something, I can drink 6 to 8 ounces of some kombucha or something that I don't like. And we've all had to take medicine before that we didn't want, like when we were kids. So
yeah,
I think I could get used to it, because I think that's one of the misconceptions, and one of the reasons why this is going to be a regular sort of segment on our show is because these are the conversations that I feel that are not being had long enough. And we have a lot of conversations. Obviously, we're going to talk about like Diddy, and we're going to talk about stuff like that. But these are the kinds of conversations that people aren't talking about, and it's going to affect us all. Like, we're all
Absolutely.
going to get older. We're all going to have sort of like, not all of us going to have health challenges, but depending on the way we're working this thing, we can prevent some of the stuff that has happened to our grandparents and,
Right.
beyond. And so one of the things, that I think about a lot, which one of the next things we're probably going to talk about in one of our future shows, is like mobility exercises. Because that's something that I feel like, if you can do it while you can do it, then it's going to improve your life a whole lot better when you get up to your older age. And even like the gut health thing, the reason I'm bringing that up is because when I recently went through whatever I was going through, I've realized, like, yo, I couldn't live like this. Like, I couldn't have this as an issue for me. Like, I need to get a beyond this, because like, I couldn't imagine like having a disease or a disorder where this happens all the time. And knowing that, all I have to do to combat it is to just drink some lemon water with some sea salt and some kombucha every now and again, and make sure you get enough of this and make sure you do this. It's like, those are little things that you can certainly do, and if you can do it now, then that's better than dealing with the consequences of having to take medications once it's gotten to work too bad.
I mean, yeah, and you don't even have to do the things that you just said, right? You don't have to drink kombucha specifically. That's just something that I like to do or whatever. But the main things to do with gut health is to like lower your processed food, because that'll turn into like sugar and stuff like that. Stay hydrated, because that helps your digestion, and that is what it's all about. You know what I mean? And just include a whole bunch of vegetables and stuff in your meals. Like, it's really that simple. Like, if you buy it and bring it in your house, it's gonna be there for you to use. You know what I mean? And if you put yourself around, we talked about this earlier, if you just put yourself around what it is that you want to learn more about and stuff like that, eventually you will learn more about it by immersing yourself around those things. So do your research and pay attention to your body. And one of the reasons why I do like kombucha, like, look up the benefits of it or whatever. Some people, obviously, if you look long enough, you can find some people that are against it or whatever. But the ones that I drink are basically like, it's tea and fruit. It's not anything else added to it. Maybe some lemon juice or whatever. And you can also learn to make your own. You know what I mean? But it detoxes you as well. So I've seen some people, like, if they've gone out and had like pizza and beer and whatever, they want to help detox or whatever, they'll drink kombucha sometimes. But just look it up, do your research, you know what I'm saying, and don't be afraid to take charge of your health. Like you said, you realize that, okay, if you can do it now, why not do it? It has to enhance your life. And contrary to popular belief, the reason why people do squats and lift weights and stuff like that is because they still want to reach up and get shit off the top of the refrigerator. They want to bend down and be able to pick up their grandkids. They want to be able to go up steps, and they want to be able to sit down and stand up for a very long time. So that is why you incorporate those things and make it a habit, even if it's only 15 to 20 minutes a day. Just think, if you did that and on a consistent basis, you're bound to see results because you're being consistent. It doesn't matter what you're doing. It doesn't matter how intense it is. It doesn't matter how hard it is. Even if you bullshit your way through 15 to 20 minutes for a consistent amount of time, you're going to see results. Okay.
Yep.
So that's all I will say about that. But I'm just glad that you are looking into that stuff, because the more that you learn, the more that you'll want to change. And let's look at all the things that we stopped doing that we used to do. Like, that's just all a part of the process. And now that you know better, you can do better. You know what I mean? And you know how to cook. You know how to eat, because we grew up eating very good. You know what I mean? And so, I mean, I think that, like your father actually said this, right? Once you start researching these things, these are some of the things that I talk about. Oh, let me do a sidetrack. I talk about these things in my Facebook group sometimes too. I will go more in depth if I have more people. So if you are a woman over 40 that wants to learn more about growing healthier habits as we age, then definitely look in the description below. Click the link to join the Facebook group. You got to be a woman over 40. And so that's how we're doing that. Also, listen to my podcast as well. That is in the link in the description. That link is in the description below as well. But Now I just forgot my daggone point of what I was
No,
trying to
that's
say.
good. I'm gonna bring you on back because the idea that we're looking into this, like I'm looking into this stuff now. It's not like I've never been healthy before, but in the last previous like maybe 5 to 10 years, I do know how to cook and I do know how to prepare foods and I do those healthy foods, but then somehow inevitably I allow myself to have unhealthy foods in addition to the healthy foods. So now I'm just like backtracking and I'm like, there's a lot of things that I'm not trying to say, oh, I wish I could go back, but there's a lot of things that I wish I had done a little better. One thing that I'll call out is my dental health. Like my teeth are fine, like it's fine. But if I would have just paid a little bit more attention and had a few less cavities and been a little bit better about flossing and doing these things, then I feel like I wouldn't have had the problems that I had later. And this is that realization for me before it's too late, for being more healthy, because it's one of those things where you just take it for granted. It's like it's always there. And that's why I bring up gastrointestinal health, because how important it is. It's like, I'm not trying to say this is a bad thing. I hate that I'm saying this, but it's real. If you have to get like a leg amputated or something like that, like you can live a good life with one leg. You can live a good life without one arm. You can live a good life, without a limb or whatever. But your gut, like you have to make sure that like you can't even like get up if your core isn't straight. So it's like these are the things that, like, when you take it for granted and it's like, oh, it always works the way it always has worked. Like that's one thing, but I'm here to call out that, hey, something you might want to pay attention to if you don't have problems right now. That's good, but just start to look into some of this stuff to see if you have some of the symptoms, to see, because like a lot of stuff that you might think is normal, like gas and things like that, like you might think it's normal, but then you look it up and you're like, oh, these are symptoms of other things that I should be paying attention to. And I just want to call that out because I feel like it's not in enough conversations. And we talk about a lot of other stuff having to do with like politics, and people talk about music, and people talk about art, and people talk about religion. And I just want to be one of the people that's talking about, hey, you out there, you're going to get older. And are you paying attention to what's happening in your body? And if you're not, let me be the first to remind you, let my sister be the first to remind you that this is something that we need to be looking into, because when it's too late, it's too late. And then you got these issues that you could have prevented, and it's very simple. They're very simple things
you have issues
that
you
you
could
could be
prevent.
doing.
You are so right, because the thing about it is you just have to think about what kind of person do you want to be when you get older, right? What kind of habits do you want to have when you're 75 years old? And start to create those habits now.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Because you are going to be so proud of yourself, because all you have to do is just start. Like I said, you could bullshit your way through like just creating a routine of moving your body, and eventually you're going to change your mindset from doing, because you're going to look back and be like, dang, I've been consistent for 3 months of doing that.
Yep.
I ain't really done my best, but I'm now used to moving my body. And then you'll be like, oh, well, let me try to do more. Or let me do this. And that's how it works with a lot of things. You know what I'm saying? Especially like you on your quest to find more information about gut health. You know what I'm saying? You're going to learn so many things that are going to connect to other things. And the point is, now you're focused on your health. So what's going to happen is you're going to keep on adding onto that and building onto that. And eventually it's going to be what you want it to be. You know what I'm saying? You're going to see the results, because now you're actually focused on feeling good and being healthy. And that we're our most important job. You know what I'm saying? And we get ignored so much by ourselves. It's ridiculous. Like, I just don't understand like how people pop up. And I'm saying how people do this, but I used to be one of these people. You know what I'm saying? You pop up, talk about you late for work, and you hurry up and rush yourself and get dressed and rush to get to work. Now you at work irritated because you was late. You didn't really get to do everything you needed to do for yourself, and then you got work 8 hours for these people, and now you're thinking this is their fault that I'm here and I'm doing this. It's like you playing a blame game when all you had to do was just take the time to make sure that you was straight before you went to go serve these other people. Because at the end of the day, if you don't take care of yourself, then I mean you're not going to be able to even get to serve the other people. And I would rather be at work feeling good, smelling good. Yeah, I might have been late, but I'm going to have to deal with this whatever is here at work anyway. When I get here, I'd rather be smelling good, feeling good, and have filled my own cup before I start to be like dealing with you guys. I'm going to be more pleasant. I'm going to be more productive. And good things are more good things are gonna come into my purview. I don't even know why I said that. More good things are gonna come into my view instead of me focusing on the bad things that are happening, because everything is gonna go like it's gonna go. You choose what you're gonna focus on. So if you focus on your health, listen, everything else is gonna work out fine, because everything goes back to how good you feel. You can't even do some jobs if you're not up to par. So I just don't understand like why it took me so long to realize that like there's nothing really, like we're not living to work. We're really living to keep this body going and keep ourselves sane and always learning. And that is what the job really is. These other things are just things along the way that you just do to sustain certain things. You know what I'm saying? Because the main is you. So anyway, that's what my whole I feel like that's what my whole business is about. Yeah. I'm about helping people try to create habits to live a better life. It's not about working out. It's not about, it's really about mindset. Yeah, we're going to do some workouts. We're going to put some workouts in there, but it's not about that, because if you don't feel like working out, that doesn't mean that you can't start working on yourself, because what happens is because you don't feel like working out because you need to work on your mindset. So that's my whole focus. Like, somebody had asked me if I wanted to do a boot camp or whatever, and I didn't really get a chance to explain them that is not what I do. I do workouts and I do videos to show people what kind of exercises you can do to inspire people that are over 40, almost 50, to know that they can do this too. That's the reason why I show my workouts. But I don't do boot camps, because my work is mostly done in making you see that you are the most important person, that you have to take care of you before anything else, any job, any kid, any man, because any of that, you can't do none of that if you're not good. So that's my whole focus. I'll get off my soapbox now.
No, that's a good point, and it's a good call out, especially, I mean, we're here now, let's say it, especially for Black women, because I feel like a lot of us put everybody before ourselves, not just our families, but our jobs, our communities, our friends, our churches. Like, we put everybody before ourselves. And you look up and you're like, oh, I don't have time to work hard. I don't have time to figure this out because I have to help so and so. When you are sick in your bed because you can't get up because you have some sickness or whatever, you can't help any of those people anyway. And I'm pretty sure all of those people don't want you to put yourself at risk for not finding time. And I'm really talking to myself, because one of the things that happened to me recently was like when I got sick and I had to like be out of work, I was grateful to have like people on my team that would be like, oh, I'll just move all your meetings for you, right? Like one of my coworkers did that. I thought that was so kind of her. But it's like, yeah, all those meetings are going to happen without me. Like whether I was there or not, like some of the stuff, yeah, it could be moved, but those things are just those things. Everything that you've signed up for that you need to do for your kids, or you need to do for your spouse, or you need to do for, the community center or whatever, all those things can be done by, like, they'll get done. You know what I'm saying? Like if you're not there, that would be the real problem. And so it's like we really have to wake up and start thinking about it like that. Like, this is something that's up to us. Nobody tells us. And that's one of the things when you were talking that I was thinking of. I thought of this earlier. So many things like in our society are just like learned behavior. We just kind of do what we see. And unfortunately, a lot of the things that are marketed to us, a lot of the things that are like most accessible are not healthy. And so if you just go with the flow and you don't have a plan, you find yourself reaching for McDonald's, or you reaching for something quick like a bag of Doritos, or you're going to grab something from the, convenience store or whatever. Like, sometimes you can find some good stuff. Like you could grab a sandwich like Subway, or you could get a salad from somewhere. But if you don't have a plan and you consistently are finding yourself just like neglecting your goals, like that's a real problem. And so I'll call that out too about your business. It's like, yeah, sometimes you're not doing the workouts, and really you just have to figure out, well, why am I not doing the workouts? A lot of the times the reasons we're telling ourselves and the stories we're living are not even true. It's like, oh, well, I don't have time. Yeah, well, you do have time, because there's other things that you're doing that are less important than you being healthy.
Hey, the next person to tell me they don't have time, I'd like to see your screen time for the week.
Oh, no.
That's what my rebuttal is. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. And this is just a friendly reminder, because this is the things that I'm telling you that I need to be telling myself. I'm not telling you, Demeter, because but I'm telling myself because I'm kind of like relearning this. Like, oh yeah, like I knew that wasn't good for me. Why did I do that? It was like because it was like there, or because it was, it was marketed to me like that. I'm not saying that that's somebody's problem.
And at some point you used to doing it, and you just keep doing it, even though you don't even really enjoy doing whatever it is at that moment or whatever. But don't feel like that anybody has a perfect regimen. Okay.
Yeah.
Whatever you see on the internet is what you see on the internet, but it doesn't mean that person is doing that 24/7, right? So you have to realize that, and that's why sometimes I try to show, like when I don't make it through a whole workout, or maybe today I wasn't feeling it, but I showed up, and I just, maybe I only did 15 minutes, but guess what? I still feel my consistency grow by putting in some work, right? And so it's like sometimes you need to work on your mindset, like you said, why don't you want to do it? And you may need to, do different things. Like maybe you need to pray more. Maybe you need to spend more time, reading the Bible, writing in your journal, reading like certain books. That also counts as well. Even though you aren't working out, you're building yourself up to be able to do better stuff for your body. So a lot of people miss that point. They think, oh, this person's working out, I need somebody to help me work out. And that works with some people, having some people to be like, hey, do this, do that. But then there's the other people who keep starting and stopping, and they end up having this conversation in their head like, oh, well, I'm not the type of person that works out, or I'm not this person that can lose weight or whatever. And though that is you in your head thinking, and that's not true, right? You just need to go a different route. Like maybe you need more time getting to know yourself better, and maybe you need more time maybe you just don't need to jump right into working out. You know what I'm saying? Maybe you need to get to the point where you're paying attention to what you're putting in your body first, or whatever. Like everybody's different, but I want people to realize that, even though you may need to lose weight, sometimes you need to work on your mindset first, because if you don't feel good about yourself, that hinders your progress, because you're either gonna, like I said, beat yourself up, or negative self-talk. Those things go into overall well-being as well. So I cover a lot of that stuff in the group. And so, I just urge you guys to take charge of your health, and don't think that anybody's perfect. Okay. I still have my moments. I didn't even eat like I was supposed to eat today. I had like a cup of soup. I had some nuts. I had some actual potato chips. You know what I'm saying? And I had a sweet tea. That's not food, right? So I already know I didn't do good today. You know what I mean? And I had my blood drawn today, so I should have really ate something like more nourishing or whatever. But I just say all that to say, full transparency, that every day is not perfect. I'm about to eat a salad now, but that was like some bullshit that I ate today. You know what I'm saying? So I'm not gonna dwell on it and beat myself up and be like, oh well, I'm not gonna stay on the road to, trying to.
I might as well eat like shit for the rest of the weekend.
No, I'm not gonna do that, right? I'm just gonna be like, you know what? Tomorrow I gotta do better, right? Because my only person I'm comparing myself to is me from the day before. Because my body's not like your body's not like my body, so I can't possibly tell you, better than you can tell yourself. So you pay attention to the day before, the you from day before, and just try to do a little bit better and celebrate those small things, because eventually you keep on being consistent at those things, they'll build. And then you look back and be like, I did that. Yep. So
that's dope.
So anyway, I can go on about.
I know. Okay, so let me say this, and then we can end here, because this might be something that
I know what I forgot. Hold on, I know what I forgot. Your father told me that once you started to get into whatever I was talking about, that you were going to do better than me. So I was like, I agree with that, because I was like, her research skills are, something else or whatever. So once she really grasps and start to listen to, like, not listen, but look at the stuff like you're looking at, I was like, she probably watch.
Okay. Anyway. Well, look, I wanted to show you something. Well, look, maybe this is the beginning of that, because we've heard about this so many times, but this is something that I'm just coming across, and I just purchased a copy of it, and it's called The Artist's Way. And the reason I got drawn to this was because I've heard of these morning pages, right? Morning pages, and it came from this book. But morning pages are, if you like Google it or look on Instagram or Pinterest or whatever, you'll see it's supposed to be 3 pages of stream of conscious writing, meaning whatever's on your mind. Like if you can only think of, I have nothing to write, I have nothing to write, you keep writing that until something pops up.
I remember you told me about that. Okay.
What it's meant to do is it's meant to clear your mind and get all the gunk out of your mind so you can start. But so I was thinking about this in terms of journaling because I've been doing this for the past couple of weeks and I still haven't even gotten into the actual book. The book actually has like a 12-week program of things that she suggests doing. This was supposed to be a book for artists to get like out of their sort of like writer's block mentality or their artist block mentality. But people have found morning pages to be beneficial to them even when they're not artists, because what it does is it removes that first layer of just garbage from your brain. And so a lot of times, especially, and this is one of the things that I'm going to go into more on my channel in the coming weeks, is, and I'll probably put it on the DC Life Sisters channels now I'm thinking about it, because it really has to do with how as technology has come along, it was meant to enhance but not replace some things. And I think we have some things backwards. Like people think that certain things are redundant when repetition is the way that you learn. This is one of the fundamental ways that you learn things. It's the way you learned your multiplication tables. It's the way you learned the ABCs. It's the way you learn a lot of stuff. It's the way you learn how to get home, right? Mm-hmm. It's repetition. So I think that a lot of things that we think nowadays, like, oh, that's redundant, I don't need to write that down twice in 2 different places. Like, why not? If you want to remember it, why is it that it can't be in more than one place? Like, these are the things that, and I think handwriting and writing things by hand is another thing that is slowly becoming lost. And I think it's one of the reasons that we lack mental clarity these days, because we do a lot digitally, where we really need to have that cognitive process with pen and paper, your hand, your mind telling you what's the most important thing to write down, and not just like dictating through typing. You need to really be having the hand mind connection.
I always say whenever I go to the grocery store, if I write the list down and I forget it, I still will come back home with mostly everything because I wrote it. It's something about writing it. But I am one of those people that write stuff down wherever I am, and especially for work. It is so helpful because you don't have to think about it. You can just be like, all right, I wrote it down. And I mean, I'm just going to show this briefly because those index cards you got me, I love them. But I was using the hell out of those today. But like, this was my to-do list for today, right?
Nice.
It's like 20 things on here, and I didn't get to everything, but it made me feel good at the end of the day that I was able to cross some stuff off, and I'm like, and now I have my list for tomorrow, so I know exactly
it's
what
right there.
Right back up. So
that's the thing that I realize is like every day a list will appear. It's just inevitable. It's like stuff that you didn't even think of the day before. And I'm going to start putting my list together so I can go back and look and see how they're similar. But the thing about writing it down, like, yeah, you're going to write all that stuff down and you're not going to get to all of it, but it's going to help you see what the most important things are. Now, imagine you hadn't written any of that down. Now you're just doing whatever's popping up, and you didn't have the release.
Probably would have forgot something.
You didn't have the release and the relief. But here's the thing. Listen, we're not going to get so, maniacal with this thing, because if you wrote all that stuff down and you still didn't think of the most important thing, then it just wasn't meant to be, right. Like, but this is the effort. You writing it down, that shows yourself. And that's really all I'm out to do, is to prove to myself that I tried hard enough.
See, and I like this. I like that what you said, because all you need to do is try. But I like this book, The Artist's Way. So you gotta let me know, like, after you've used it a lot, how it makes you feel.
I definitely will. Like, I'm gonna do an update.
Yeah, because one of the exercises that I suggest in my mindset group sometimes is to ask yourself questions, like journal and ask yourself questions and write down your answers. Like if you're just thinking right now to a question and you ask yourself, you're going to come up with one answer. But like if you were actively writing down everything that came to your mind, you will be surprised at what you would write and the answers that you could get. I got this thought yesterday after I realized something happened at work, and I realized something about myself, and then I thought about what I'm doing with my business, and it just like dawned on me as I was writing something out, and I said, well, let me go with this thought. What if I did this, right?
Yeah.
What if I did this with my business? What if I acted this way in my business that I do at my full-time job, right? I was like, how would that look? And I just kept on writing whatever just the first thing was that came to my mind. When I looked at it, I said, hey, that's it right there.
That's it. It's like it's an opportunity to have a conversation with yourself.
I wouldn't have had the thought if I would have just been sitting here thinking about it, because we think about so many things. Like I have to actively write certain things down or go to your notes page in your phone or whatever, somehow capture it or whatever. But there is something to actually writing it, I don't know. But like I wouldn't have had that complete thought or remembered to write it down as succinct as it was if I wasn't like writing at the time. So I was like, yeah, but yeah, I like the idea of this book. But it is something to writing your stuff down.
Man, it's an opportunity to really have a conversation with yourself, because you're having to hold on to the idea and think at the same time. Once you put that distance between yourself and your thoughts, and then you can examine the thought, as opposed to just when you're thinking the thought, you're one with the thought. But when you put it on paper, now you and the thought can exist together, and you can expand from that. And that's, listen, that's free game, y'all. Y'all take that for free. Listen, this was a wonderful conversation as usual with my wonderful sister.
Yes.
This is like my let me stop sharing.
Your save folder.
Yeah. But guys, it's been real. We're so happy that you came to join us. We had Kamisha in the building tonight.
Yes, Kamisha, shout out to
Kamisha. Live. Tyron came through.
Y'all don't know Kamisha. Kamisha Reviews, I'll say it again. Kamisha Reviews is the queen of reality TV. She has interviewed so many people from reality TV shows, from Big Brother Challenge to The Traitors. If y'all watch The Traitors, I heard Monique Samuels. I think Kamisha said Monique Samuels is going to be on there. Kamisha also has like little inside stuff like that. But she's interviewed everybody. She interviewed people from that Squid Game challenge, if y'all watch that. Yep. But yeah, definitely check her channel out. Also, On the Spot Live. If you are looking for a house, looking to fix your credit, On the Spot Live has a bunch of knowledge, because she's also a realtor. But she also has another channel called I Am the Single One. All right. And she talks about how she wants to be single. So, and she has a bunch of little different other stuff, fun stuff over there too, or whatever. But shout out to everybody that was in the building. Shout out to Varenza, my Facebook people, my cousin Tyron. Check out Relationship Entertainment Television. Also, my lovely sister is in the planner world. If you know who Erin Condren is, if you know about, Jenny Penton, and these are names that are going to ring bells for people who like to order planners and stuff. My sister has everything known to man when it comes to planning. She has every type of book or journal or anything that you could think of. I bet you she can go get it and have it on camera. Okay. She has all the pens. All right. All the pens.
I just got 2 new fountain pens.
Lord,
I'm so excited.
So I really am in heaven, because you guys, I like really nice pens, and I like, I like stuff like that. And so she always makes sure I'm supplied with that. But anyway, if you want to learn more about the things, to how to use those things and all the little washi tapes and stickers and how to put your stuff together, definitely make sure you follow my sister. Yes, I'm a unicorn. Her link to her channel is in the description below. Follow her. She just put a video up. Was it yesterday?
That was the day before yesterday. Yeah,
the day before yesterday, and it was the Erin Condren haul, and she showed a bunch of the products and stuff like that. So anyway, if you need to follow her. Okay. We're like she said, we're so happy that you guys are here participating. Get in the comments below if you're catching this on the replay. Share your thoughts as well on all the things that we talked about, okay? Because like I said before, we are sisters and we don't always agree, but our conversations are always good. Like
they are.
Next week. Anyway, what you got to say to close us out, sis?
That's all. You hit it all. You hit it all.
Okay, great. Well, I'm about to go make me a salad. And this is also what I want to say in regards to like just making good decisions, right? I gotta talk myself out of stuff every day. Okay. Last night I usually cook during the week, but last night I was like, what was I doing? I worked late. I went to work and then I came home and I worked late and it was like already 8:30 and I was like, well, I'm not about to go cook nothing. And I was like, well, what can I go get? And obviously everything around here is like fried this, fried that, or whatever. And so I ended up going to Chick-fil-A and I really wanted some French fries and whatever. And I ended up just getting a salad with grilled chicken or whatever, even though I really wanted them fries. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But my point is, you have to have that conversation with yourself sometimes and be like, listen, we're not going to eat that because we don't like how that makes us feel. We don't like how that's going to make us look. What is it really going to do in our body? When you start focusing on your health, you'll ask yourself questions like that. So, like I said, I just implore everybody to just take it one day at a time. Don't beat yourself up. Try to do better than you did yesterday. All right. That's all I got to say. Anyway, we're out of here because the sister's hungry. So,
well, thanks for joining us. See y'all next week when we cover everything else on the internet. Peace, everybody. Peace.